Hello, everybody. I'm Finn McKenty. This is the Punk Rock MBA. Today, I'm here with a guest, Glenn Fricker. You may know him from his channel, Spectre Media Group. We're here at the URM Summit, which is my day job. We've got a couple hundred people here, producers from all over the place, here to nerd out and talk about how to make better records. We've also got some special guests such as Glenn, and I figured since we're both here in the same place, why not sit down and talk? You guys may be familiar with his channel. If you're not, I guess, how would you describe it?
It's the summation of 20 plus years of running a recording studio, just running into the same fucking horrible mistakes over and over and over and over again, and just letting that frustration out.
And you're at what, 325,000 subscribers or something now?
342.
340, okay.
Like last time I checked.
And you've been...
At Spectre Sound Studios, by the way. Spectre Media Group's my company.
Oh, okay. Well, I always look forward to Spectre Media Group. So,
I'm sorry.
And you've got, you've done what, maybe 500 videos or something now? 600?
8 or 9, I think.
Yeah. So, point being, you've been doing this for a long fucking time, and the two things, we obviously disagree on we disagree on our opinions on a lot of things, but I've always admired about your channel, like, really two things that are so key to success on YouTube, in my opinion, but you've been doing this longer than I have, is consistency and a point of view. I mean, you've uploaded at least once, twice, 3 times a week for how many years now?
Let's see. I started posting once a week in 2014. Like, I started out doing a couple of videos. A lot of people were like, holy fuck, this is great. Do more. And I'm like, I kind of said what I wanted to say. It took a little while to figure out what I wanted to do. And once I figured that out, I started to do once a week. And I remember that was the summer 2014. And I think I missed like 1 week where I didn't do once a week. And then spring of 2015, I had a break from my day job for about 12 weeks. So I thought, let's try doing 3 videos a week, see what happens, because I've got more time. I can put more time into this. There's a lot to do here. So, and when I went back to my day job, I still stuck with the 3 videos a week, and it can be brutally exhausting.
3 videos a week is a fucking lot.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, like, well, the one most consistent show I do every week is my Friday viewers comments, and that involves the viewers, and I can get their questions, what they want to learn, and fucking just answer. It's just random answers to random recording questions. And
by the way, when I do viewer comments videos, it was specifically stolen from.
I just stole it from Fluff.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Specifically stole it from you. So.
But that's one of the other keys to success on YouTube is interaction. Make sure the people watching your videos know that the comments that they're making are being responded to, because nobody likes to be ignored. Now, I was talking with Old England the other day, name drop, somebody who's really killing it on YouTube this year. He's doing fucking great.
He just took off this year.
He was talking to me about his schedule, and I really want to try this. Is he shoots he'll take 2 days to shoot and 2 days to edit, and then he's got 3 days off. Whereas I'm just fucking there's just not enough time in the day or the week, and I've got horrible.
You still have a day job, right?
Yes, to a certain point.
Okay.
Yes. I'm hopefully going to be wrapping that up by the end of the year.
So for anybody who says that they don't have time or that they're struggling to find time to
you have time. You just have to make choices.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, do I want to do YouTube or do I want to play video games? Do I want to do YouTube or do I want to go do something fucking pointless like sit in front of the TV?
And it's also inspiring to me, like, we're both very old by YouTube standards, right?
Yeah, I go to Bufferfest in Toronto every year, and it's like I'm definitely the old man there.
Fluff's a little bit younger than us, but not by much. So
right.
That's very inspiring to me that you don't have to be like a cool, good-looking 18-year-old to be successful on YouTube.
I'm living proof that you definitely do not have to be good-looking to do YouTube. That's for sure. Have something worthwhile. Have something for the audience. Have something that they can get out of watching your video. Name dropping, Jared Dines, a good buddy of mine, who's also just massively successful on YouTube. The best advice he ever gave me was don't make it about you.
Another thing that you do that Fluff does and a lot of other people do, Ola does, you've got a few different series. So you've got the viewer comments one, you've got Fearless Gear reviews, you've got your demos. What else do you have?
I just started a new one, actually. It's another interactive show. It's like, send me your stuff. It's like, oh, hey, I rented a mailbox. I'm like, send me your stuff. So it's like, I'm just getting like deluged with stuff. And I'm doing like, doing little haul videos. It's like, oh, this band sent me this shirt. Like, I got sent this shirt the other day, and I got sent this hoodie the other day by fans. And it's like, I'm more than happy to, wear their band merch on the show. Why not? It's like, hey, check this band out, if I could read what the fuck it said.
They should put like, a subtitle
exactly.
at the top in parentheses.
It's like, guys, branding means the client, the person you're trying to sell to knows who the fuck you are. Okay, that's a big hint.
I never thought about this really until now, but speaking of age, I wonder how much the fact that we're older helps us in the sense of that we recognize that you've got to be on the fucking grind. You know, when I was 18, I don't know that I understood that the way that I do now.
I really like video games, but I haven't played a video game in about a year because I've got more important things to do. You know, it's like, do you take a little leisure time? Yeah, I take a little time at the end of it every day to do a little bit of reading, or I'm a big fucking anime nerd, so maybe I'll watch an episode.
But not 4 hours of leisure time.
No, like a half an hour, maybe an hour max, and then go to bed and wake up and start it all over again. And you were the one who quoted me this a while ago. We were talking on Facebook, and he said it's like drinking from a fire hose, and I thought that was great. That's a great analogy, and it really is. I mean, like, you wake up and there's a pile of emails you've got to do. It's like, got to get that done, and then you got to do comments, and then you've got to, you got to shoot. I see Ola, posting up pictures. Oh, I'm playing video games. And I'm like, you lucky bastard. Oh, how do you do that? And so I hit him up, and he's like, yeah, I got 2 days where I shoot and 2 days where I edit. And I'm like, I need to do that.
How long did it take you to get like real traction after you started doing it?
The insane thing is it was like right from the get-go, because the first video I did was how to get your band ready for the studio, and it was just because I saw musicians making the same mistakes, and I put it up on the Andy Sneap Forum, and there was a really great split there, because a lot of people were like, holy fuck, this is great, do more, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. The other half is, you're gonna ruin your business, man, because you're just being too truthful, that kind of shit. Then I did how to hold a microphone, because I was down in Memphis, all things, checking out the blues band. The singer was singing like this, and it just sounded fucking amazing. And I'm like, oh my God. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter the genre. The singers just aren't smart enough to figure out how to hold a microphone. So I thought I'd do a video on that, and I remember getting a very angry phone call from a client of mine, you motherfucking son of a... And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of onto something here. So it was an evolution, but it's like the videos... were very well planned out and scripted in the beginning, and it's like, when I started doing it weekly, that's when it became a little tougher. But I found once I started doing weekly, a lot of the fans would write messages, they'd write comments, and I'd get inspiration for more videos from that. Basically, hey, you know what you're going to do next? Ask the viewers, because chances are they've got a subject they want addressed. There's something they want to see you take on.
Anytime I'm out of ideas, I ask, and then I have, by the time I'm done reading those, I have 10 ideas. I
like what you said, though, about having an opinion. I remember reading this many years ago, and maybe probably in the late 90s, back in the dial-up days, back when we had to get our pornography one line at a time. Somebody said, how do you start an argument on the internet? Have an opinion. And I thought that was great. Now, that's always been in the back of my mind, is like, don't fucking mince your opinions. You know what? Chances are some people are going to agree, some people are not going to agree. The people who disagree are going to let their feelings be known. Fortunately, the YouTube algorithm sees that as engagement. It doesn't care if it's good feedback, bad feedback, whatever. They just want feedback because they want to keep people eyes on those videos. They want to keep you watching that stuff so they can sell you more ads. So any kind of feedback is good. I have seen guys do YouTube videos on recording and talk at great length and say absolutely nothing. And those videos suck because there's nothing there for the viewer. Oh, you can try it like this. You can try it like this. Well, what the fuck do you think?
Right.
It's not about you, but it's like, what do you think and why is that? The other worst possible thing, and this goes to Martin Scorsese, he says, don't tell the viewer something they already know.
On that note, I think obviously what makes your channel successful more than anything else is that you have that strong point of view, which I've talked about before. We're like the opposite sides of the Force. I'm the Jedi and you're whatever the bad guys are, the dark side, the Sith. I've chosen to play nice because that's what I want to do for various reasons. You tell it like it is in a way that a lot of people find off-putting, but like you just said, that's also the key to success for your channel. I have negative opinions too. I just don't express them because I don't feel the need to. But
sure.
Can you talk about kind of what the ripple effects of having that point of view are? I mean, there's obviously a lot of people that don't like you. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. The random commenters is fine, but what about people like in the industry and stuff like that?
Everybody in the industry has been really, really cool. I mean, like, there's maybe one guy at Line 6 who got his nose out of joint a little bit, but honestly, everybody else at Line 6 who I've definitely raked over the coals numerous times. Everybody else at Line 6 has just been fucking amazing. They're a really good group of guys. And, they put out the Spider 5 Mark II firmware. They actually improved it, and they said, hey, would you check this out? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, you know what? That's a lot better. good for you guys, good for taking the feedback and doing something with it.
And for better or for worse, a lot of people are talking about Line 6 or thinking about Line 6. Even if you're talking shit, they're still hearing the name Line 6.
Exactly. And I mean, like that's not to say, I mean, like the one product I might not approve, that doesn't mean the whole fucking product line is garbage either. I mean, another great example is Mesa Boogie. I know they really got their nose out of joint about that cab clone review I did, but I'm like, come on, it fucking sucked. I really like a lot of Mesa Boogie products, and I thought that the cab clone didn't deserve to have that badge on it because it was an awful piece of garbage. And hopefully they come out with something better. I'd like nothing more for them to come out with something better and offer more value to the consumer out there who's spending his hard-earned money. And that's, in case anybody didn't get it, that is the underlying point of my show. It's about production, it's about music and all that, but it's also about consumer advocacy for the person who works the shitty fucking job, who works way too many hours for crap wages so they don't waste their money. Because I've been there.
So again, that's about making it about the viewer. It's not just your opinion.
Right.
It's your opinion with the purpose of helping the viewer in this way.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, don't, you know what? I'll go buy the crappy gear. I'll try it out, and I'll show you why it's terrible. And I'll, you know, and then we'll have a little fun with it. You know, we'll like load it full of tannerite and blow it up in the desert, or you know, put it off a rooftop or something like that. But the underlying theme is, yeah, please don't waste your money on this.
So how long did it take you? You said you got some traction pretty early out of the gate.
Yeah.
How long did it take you before you were making any kind of real money off of it?
Ooh. That definitely took a while. My first NAMM, I remember this. It was NAMM 2015. I just finished up the year 2014. I remember I made $500 for December of 2015. And I was so proud of myself coming down there. Oh wow, I made $500. And then I bumped into Rob Scallon, and he's like, oh dude, I made this amount on YouTube this year. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here! What? Yeah. But the thing is, Rob sat me down and talked to me for, I don't know, 2 hours or something. Like he said, this is how you make a living on YouTube. He's like, you've only got 27,000 subscribers right now, but you're gonna do it too. And that was the most important conversation I ever had in my life. So now every time I see Rob, I gotta buy him a beer.
Yeah. Well, same thing for me. Fluff helped me out. I mean, he still does, but helped me out a lot. At the very beginning of my channel before I had any traction. So I guess another takeaway there to me is ask for help, and when people give you that advice, take it. Don't be what I call an asshole.
Oh, I call it too. I know a lot of drummers like that.
Yeah. Like, what should I do? And then you tell them, yeah, okay, well, I think I'm going to go back to doing it the way I was before. And I'm like, why did you fucking waste my time asking me my opinion then?
It wasn't until, so I made a few bucks, and then January comes around, and then, the ad rates fucking plummet. But Rob was kind enough to say, it's like, you can't just rely on YouTube ads. It's got to be a bunch of other things. And it's, been a whole discovery process along the way. But I mean, like any successful person, they'll tell you, you don't have one income stream, you have multiple. And over the last 4 or 5 years or whatever, I guess it is 5 years now, holy shit, I've been building that up. So it's YouTube ads, but it's also Patreon. My patrons are fucking amazing. You guys rule, and you've got some cool free shit coming your way soon. But there's also, merch, t-shirts, that kind of thing. Those rule number 2 shirts are really popular in Australia. And the Scandinavians love them too. What else? Then I've got, several lessons I do with Pro Mix Academy. I got my prog metal, my, mixing math rock, that kind of shit. But
how about this noise gate? I haven't had a chance to watch those.
Oh, the cock blocker.
Yes. Yeah. What is this?
This is a sidechain noise gate brought to you by those wonderful people who made the Steel Panther Pussy Melter. Right, we reviewed the Pussy Melter, and one of the viewers said, hey, you should make a pedal, you should make a noise gate and call it the cock blocker. I'm like, that's a fucking great idea. I'm going to do exactly that. So he is getting a free pedal. So that I was hoping to sell 20 or 30. We've sold considerably more. Let's just put it that way. This has just been a runaway hit for me. So so thank you to everybody who got one. It is, like I said, this has just gone beyond my wildest dreams. And yes, there'll be enough left over. So if you haven't got one yet, get it now, because it's like simply the most awesome noise gate you can ever get for metal guitar, and it says cock on it.
There's lots of different ways that you can monetize your audience, and there is a line in which the audience, once you cross that line, they feel like you're trying too hard. There's a line in which the audience is like, okay, enough, like stop trying to sell us shit.
Okay, nobody said that yet, which is
so
great.
You haven't encountered that.
Well, this is the thing, when you're selling shit for somebody else, that's one thing. But if you're selling, I always find the audience, if you're selling your own product, is usually behind you because they've already come to your channel for your personality, your brand, as it were. and what you do. So if you're selling, your own T-shirts, or you're selling your own pedal or lessons, that kind of thing, chances are, they're not going to get too rough about that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're, selling for a product that doesn't quite line up with what you're doing, chances are you might get some flack for that. I mean, I've done a lot of videos with DistroKid, and that's a product I really do believe in, a product I use, so that's easy. But if I'm doing something like, last thing anybody ever wants me to see me do is an ad for Line 6. Me like, oh come on, what the fuck, that kind of. So you're just doing this to get paid. You really have to respect your audience. The one thing I learned on YouTube is always be honest with what you're doing, because your audience will definitely see right through that crap if you're not, and they will call you out, and it will cost you. So
yes, they will.
So small-term financial gain might be nice, but it's not worth selling out for in the long run, because you will destroy your channel ultimately.
So what would you say for anyone out there that has a YouTube channel, or I guess any other sort of, Instagram, some other sort of following, and they're wondering, how do I monetize it beyond the obvious of YouTube ads? Where would you suggest that they start as like the first thing?
Well, yeah, merch first and foremost. If you've got a common phrase you say on the show or something like that, put that on a shirt. Mine was "Your bass player's a useless cunt." Sold a shit ton of those shirts, and they're very popular, and they still fucking sell. There's that. Stop cupping the mic, dumbass, that kind of thing. Those sold. Those were like my first things, and originally I was doing those at home. And I go to a local T-shirt shop and spend a couple nights a week, bagging them up and getting them out. It just got to be too crazy, so I had to go drop shipping, and that's a whole lot.
So you just do the Teespring thing now? Or?
Yeah. I was originally with Printful. I tried, and then it was a Custom Cat. Now I'm with Teespring because it just integrates right into YouTube, and it's pretty easy. I just throw an idea up, it sells, and I collect money, and I don't have to deal with any bullshit. It's great. Right. I remember my wife chewing me out about that. Oh, you're going to make less money. You're going to make less money. Well, you're not going to make less money if you sell 10 times the product.
And especially if then you take the time that you saved and use that to make more videos or do something else. Because if you're selling merch and you want to do it directly because you'll get a higher margin, do not underestimate the amount of time you're going to spend packing orders and answering emails about where my order is and shit like that.
Yeah, that's the worst. And this is the thing, even with some drop shippers, that was the thing, because it would go through your website and you were selling, you still had to chase those down, and those are tremendous time sinks. And if you're trying to do YouTube videos, you're just going to burn up time chasing shit down because the person didn't figure out how to enter their address correctly, that kind of shit. That's why I found most of the errors were, I misspelled my address. But if you hand it over to Teespring, it's their store. They're doing the shipping. They're handling it. So that's kind of nice. Yeah, doing recording lessons has been pretty straightforward. It is a production channel. I mean, like, all I'm doing is what we did on the Andy Sneap Forum. Just help each other out, make records, that kind of shit. All I'm doing is taking that vibe and trying to put it on my show. Speaking
of the Andy Sneap Forum, I think this is an important point. So you mentioned that the way you promoted your early videos was posting on the Andy Sneap Forum. So for anybody who doesn't know, Andy Sneap Forum, I guess it's probably still around, but it was like the sort of hub of metal, bedroom producers, late 2000s, like 2007 to 2009.
Actually, no. I got involved right around early 2005, and right up to about 2009, it was the place to be. Yeah. And it was really great right up until Joey had a hit.
That's right.
And then we just got deluged with all these people. What are Joey's presets? What are Joey's presets? And
that's how I discovered it.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah.
In like 2010.
Because, it's stupid the amount of guys who were on that forum who all have careers now.
For sure.
It's ridiculous.
And so my point there is, one of the most effective ways of promoting anything you're doing is by sharing it with your friends. And your friends are people, like, you've been part of this community for years. You didn't show up, yesterday and like, hey guys, I'm brand new to this community, watch my videos.
Right.
You spent years being part of that community, building up a relationship with them, earning their trust. And so now when you share a video, they're your friends.
Yeah.
Right? Whether you start your own or you're part of another one, like, having that, being part of a community is one of the best ways you can promote your stuff, because that's like, even if it's just 100 people, that's 100 people that are your friends.
Right, exactly.
And they're going to share it if you do a good job and all that stuff.
But that's my point.
Close enough. You get
you sell 1,000 shirts. Yeah. Or excuse me, let's say you sell 100 shirts. Sorry.
Yeah.
You just made $600.
$600 is $600.
And $600 is exactly, and then you can go, do things like buy better tripods for your show.
Obviously, as you can tell by the quality of this video, I don't know shit about cameras. I don't care about cameras. I don't enjoy the production part. Glenn is making fun of my crappy Amazon Basics tripod that I think I paid like $12 for 2 years ago.
He was struggling with it for a couple minutes there. It's
Yeah,
just like,
I don't even know how to work a tripod, so that's proof that you do not need to understand gear to do decently on YouTube, because I don't know shit about it.
You've got to have an interesting message.
I guess the last thing I would have is just, what is any general advice that you have? I'm sure you get asked this question all the time, but advice for somebody that wants to start a YouTube channel, a podcast, Instagram account, any sort of creative thing. What's your number one piece of advice that you have for them?
First and foremost, okay, there's a difference between talking about it, wanting it, and actually doing it. If you want to do it, do it. Okay, don't think about doing it. Oh, I'll do this show when I get this piece of gear, or I'll do that, because again, living proof right here. You don't need vast knowledge of gear, filmmaking techniques, or really superior gear, or any of that shit to do your show. It might make your job easier in the long run, but to actually do it, no, you don't need that. You can do a fucking YouTube show with this. That's all you need. Have something to say and fucking do it. Don't just sit around and talk about doing it. Do it. That's the biggest thing, is just getting your ass in gear and making the commitment and actually cranking out the content week after week after week after week. You have to commit. It's not going to just happen for you. So if you got an interesting message, or you're a funny bastard or anything like that, just fucking get it on video. And if it's cool, people are going to watch. That's a great thing. The other thing I would say, and when you start posting, don't let the negative comments get you down. In the long run, it's all sticks and stones. Just remember a couple of fundamental things. Number one, the people who are leaving horrible negative comments on your videos are the people who don't have the guts enough to go do it for themselves. Henry Rollins, again, I go back to Rollins because he was such a wellspring of fucking inspiring shit. He said something like in the movie, or in the book, Get in the Van. He said, people would give him shit for working hard, and those are the people who didn't have the balls enough to go do it for them. If you're starting to get a little traction and you're getting shit, that means you're doing the right thing, because you're pissing people off because you're doing something they wish they could do. So don't get too wrapped up in the negative comments. Fuck the haters. Do what you're gonna do, because if you're getting a good response, you're doing the right thing. This is a true story. I remember one day I released a video, and I can't remember what the fuck it was about now. It's a couple years ago. And I was getting really, really hammered in the comments by a lot of people. A lot of people were ragging on me and whatnot. And I'm just like, had a really rough day. And I sit down, I'm just about ready to go to bed. My phone buzzes. And I'm like, oh, fuck, now what? And I look, and it's a PM from Tua Madsen. He's like, dude, love your show. Don't ever change.
There you go.
And
Guess whose opinion matters more?
Yeah,
exactly. Fucking jack-offs or Tua?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, fuck yes. So that guy kind of makes your day. And it's like, it's really great, especially when people you admire come up to you and say how much they enjoy your show. I mean, like, I had Dino from Fear Factory come up to me and tell me how much he loved watching it. I'm just like, fuck, because I played Demanufacture like crazy, back in the late 90s kind of shit. So I had a really big period. I was at Fear Factory, so I cried a little at that.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with me. Anybody, if you're not familiar, you can just search for Glenn Fricker and you'll find his videos if you're not already familiar. Hopefully there was something informative and inspiring that you can take away from there. And yeah, I guess as soon as you stop this video, get off your ass and go make something. That's the takeaway to me.